Hello and good evening. This is the voice of Ademola Morebise, and I'm so happy and excited to welcome you to this seminar. We're going to be talking about innovation as a tool for personal, professional, and national development. This is actually the second part. Yesterday, we treated innovation as a tool for personal and professional development. Today, I'm going to be talking about innovation as a tool for national development, and I have so much to share with you guys on that particular topic of innovation as a tool for national development. And so first and foremost, when we talk of national development in this context, I'm going to assume, right, that what my host has in mind is, of course, the nation of Nigeria, right? So to the best of my knowledge, when we talk of national development this evening, to be within the context of Nigeria as a nation, how can creativity, right, champion and lead the national development as far as Nigeria is concerned? I believe that is, we're discussing along that line. So yesterday, we spoke about, the key theme from yesterday was a changing world, right? A changing world. The world is changing, and that the COVID-19 pandemic has, really hit the hammer on the head to the level whereby we understand clearly that, the world is changing. The world has changed. The world is changing. The world has changed, and that in a way, there's a level playing field now for anybody to really go in there with fresh ideas, new ideas, and you can really make the most of what is going on. All right, just like yesterday, I have the comments right here in front of me, so you can just ask questions at any time. You can just drop a comment and I can see them right here live. All right, so our host, Mr. Ayodele, has confirmed, said, yes, sir, Nigeria on my mind. All right, so once again, I want to say a big thank you to everybody that has made this possible. Thank you to the entire team at the Africa Innovators and Leaders Network. Thank you so much for hosting me and for giving me your platform to come here and share about creativity, innovation, invention, and everything in between. I appreciate this. I do not take this for granted. Okay, so let's shoot on. All right. So basically, we're going to that point whereby, success in this century is not just about industrial action. It's not just about industrialization. Yes, we still have industries. Yes, we still do things on large scale. But beyond just industrialization now, you need to have an innovative edge. So there is need for innovation. There is need for knowledge. There is need for an injection of creativity on the individual level. That is what's going to guarantee personal success this century. That's what is going to also, to a large extent, help you with your professional development. So personal development, professional development now has gone beyond mere efficiency and competence. You now need to inject creativity, innovativeness, inventiveness, right, into the mix. That is clear. So how does this thing now add up to become national development? That is exactly what this evening's discussion is going to center around. Okay, so first and foremost, right, when we talk of national development, I want us to agree on something. All right, among other things, I need us to agree that there is a problem, right? That Nigeria has a problem. It will be hard for us to help each other if we are not able to agree that Nigeria has a problem. So step one, let's agree that Nigeria has a problem. That's the first thing. Okay, so if we agree that Nigeria has a problem, then we can then say, okay, so how do we solve this problem, right? If we think everything is good, all is perfect with Nigeria, then that means there is no problem. So I'm the little boy crying wolf, so I should be ignored, right? But if we can agree that there is a problem, all right, if we can agree that there's a problem, then we would be able to come together and see how we can reach some kind of resolution in order to see how well we can, solve these problems. It's really as simple as that, right? Okay. When we talk of solving these problems, so we have people, different coalitions of people trying to solve our national problems from different angles, right? We have people from different places that are trying to solve these problems from different angles, okay? And when we talk of people from different places trying to solve all these angles, Some people, for example, some people feel it's a political problem, and so they are trying to see how they can hijack the government of Nigeria, for example. That how can we put together a coalition? You know, you want to solve the problem from a political angle. All right. Some people do the whole activist thing. You know, putting pressure. We call them pressure groups. So they try to push pressure on the government so that other things can happen. So they are working so hard, hoping the government can drive various policies that can change Nigeria's economic outlook. But so far, that does not seem to be going so well. All right. If you ask me, this is my opinion, right? I would say that Nigerian politics and governance does not seem to be ready to make the difficult decisions, right? There are difficult decisions that will drive long-term revitalization and growth of the Nigerian economy. All right, they are just, you know, there are difficult decisions. Like, look, the way I see it, Nigeria is a complex problem. Scratch that. Nigeria is the complex problem. They say, what are the complex problems that we need to solve? Number one is Nigeria. Nigeria is the complex problem. So, I mean, the solutions are not so simple. And it's a multifaceted problem. I mean, you tackle this angle, 20 other angles are there that needs to be fixed. So it becomes tricky. You want to look out and say, okay, what is the most important thing? But so far, when you talk to most people, they feel that Nigeria's problem can be solved, you know, politically. And that is one major area where I beg to differ, right? I don't think that, yes, so like I said, let's agree that there's a problem. So we seem to agree that there is a problem. But where there is now a challenge is that we are not able to agree when it comes to solutions, okay? But here's the thing, all right? I hope I'm able to convince you this evening that Nigeria is a poor country and that the solution to the problem is not as simple as electing a new president in 2023, all right? Let's agree on that. We are a poor country and we are not in control of our future. That is the problem. There is an idea that possessing natural resources makes Nigeria a great nation, a rich nation. That is not really true as well. You know, so these are the talking points, all right? And then hopefully I'm able to convince you that creativity is the hallmark. Creativity is the thing that will help us to jump through all these hurdles and march into the future. Yeah, just adding. Those are some of the things I hope to you know, explain to you over the next few minutes as we explore our conversation right here today. So we're talking about innovation, creativity, innovation as a tool for national development. And the first thing, of course, is for us to agree that there's something wrong with Nigeria, that there is a problem, all right? And of course, there's no problem that cannot be solved. You just need a little more wisdom. There's no problem that cannot be solved. You just need a little bit more technology or something like that, right? So Nigeria is the complex problem. So let's try to deconstruct the problem and then see how we can find an answer. So first things first, the major thinking is that politics will solve the problem, and I beg to differ, right? Because as far as I can tell, there's no precedence for that. I mean, you take a look at all the nations of the world, how they moved from poverty to abundance. Those changes were not strictly driven by politics. You know, like I always say that, let us remember something. Government is in place to serve the people. Emphasis on the people. The job of government is to take whatever is in the best interest of the people. So government exists to regulate. I don't think government-led innovation works well. That's what I've seen so far, right? If you have a better argument, let's hear your argument, all right? But as far as I can tell, government-led innovation, right, they don't work as well as individual-led innovation. So the job of government, as far as I can tell, is to regulate and not to innovate. So the changes that needs to happen in Nigeria, I don't think it will happen because of the government. I think it's going to happen in spite of the government. That regardless of the government, right, we were able to do some things that led to national development. As simple as that. For example, when people talk of, good roads, they want to build trains, infrastructural development, education and things like that. I want to think about it, right? If there was enough money to tar all the roads in Nigeria, are you really telling me no one would have done it by now? That we had all the money, all the resources we needed to make sure everything was in place? Would nobody have done it already? The answer is definitely no. The resources is not enough. How does the government get resources? Government gets resources by taxing people. Who do they tax? They tax people, they tax groups, they tax companies, they tax organizations, they tax institutions. That's how the government gets funded. It's through taxes. When you pay your tax to the government, things are funded. So it looks like the chicken and egg problem, right? Which comes first? Now, are you going to tax companies that don't exist? Or will the companies come first, then the government tax them, gets money to develop the nation? Look at it both ways. Now, I'm not saying Nigeria is not mismanaged. Like I said, I want us to understand that Nigeria, the main idea is people say Nigeria is a rich country that is mismanaged. But I say no, Nigeria is a poor country, right, that is mismanaged. And I'm not just I have my data, I have data to back it up. I'm going to explain that to you shortly in a bit. I'm just trying to start you off with something light and to get to the root of our discourse this beautiful evening. Okay, so first things first, I believe that one of the challenges with Nigeria now is that the Nigerian society is shaped by certain institutions, all right? The biggest institution shaping Nigeria right now is politics, not governance. Politics, not government. Politics, all right? Politics. Politicking, that is the order of the day in Nigeria. Politics, religion, academia, those are the three major forces, the three major institutions that are shaping Nigeria. Politics, religion, and academia. Of those three institutions, none of them gives you an incentive for creativity, productivity, or any extra effort. All right? There's no incentive. And I know we got into this yesterday also. I touched on this briefly yesterday, right? That when it comes to the Nigerian society, there are very few institutions in Nigeria that places a premium on creativity, on innovation, on knowledge, on excellent delivery. Very few institutions place a premium on that, right? What we do most of the time is, we just slack around, all right? I mean, when it comes to politics, this morning while preparing for this seminar, I was thinking about it this morning, and I was asking myself, you see, some people say, young people, let's come together, let's take over Nigeria. But here's the thing, all right? If you observe the advanced nations in the world, their political parties are divided along ideologies, all right? Some of us want to run a socialism economy. For example, in the USA, you have the Bernie Sanders of this world. His idea is socialism. America is too capitalist for my liking. If you vote me, I'll socialize America. That's Bernie Sanders' philosophy. Trump, capitalist. When he got into power, he did tax cut. By cutting tax, he enriches people more. There's more incentive to do business, things like that. So anytime they attack him, he's always quick to point at the economy, that the economy is growing. What's your problem? Things like that. So they are divided along ideology. Please, can anybody tell me here, anybody on this program this evening, can you tell me what is the ideology of the biggest political parties in your country? All right? All those young guys saying, let's form a youth coalition. Your youth coalition is based around what ideology? What ideology? What's your ideology? What's your vision for the nation? What's the vision? What's the ideology? Do you want to run a capitalist government? Do you want to be a socialist? Is it communism? What exactly do you want to drive? What is the big idea? Right? I mean, for better or worse, I feel that this Lagos state in Nigeria does a good job of articulating their vision. They'll tell you, greater Lagos, and that's the current slogan now. It's a greater Lagos, and they'll put it there, right? That they want to make Lagos one of the biggest economy in Africa. I've had the privilege of reading. I had the privilege of getting hands on Lagos State's vision document. The thing is the 25-year plan. It's on my laptop. I downloaded it. Detailed plans for each economy and things like that. I believe that what I'm saying. So when you say you want to go there political and things like that, what's the idea? There's nothing. You understand? I don't know what's going on in that section. Okay, what I know is that Nigeria's politics as it is today does not give you incentive to be creative, does not give incentive to be productive. I mean, they just sit around all day doing nothing, all right, waiting till the next time when we share money. project after project have been announced. The main purpose of those projects is to see how they can siphon cash here and there. You know this, I know this. We don't need to hide this anymore, right? There are good guys in government, right? I know there are good guys in government. There are good guys in government. There are really, really good guys in government, all right? But overall, the system is not set up in a way that rewards creativity and productivity. And that is one of the biggest drivers of our economy, right? We talk of religion, the same thing. Okay, religion teaches us to pray, right? Let's pray to God, wait for a miracle. That's the religious mindset. The religious mindset says God will do it for me. Religion is different from spirituality, right? If you read through my books, I talk about spirituality in my books, whether unleash your inventions, getting in shape for creativity. In those books, I talk about spirituality in those books. Spirituality is different from religion. Religion says God will do it for me. And so, while you are waiting on God for the miracle, what do? You simply get by, right? You just get by. You just do whatever you can. Just manage, all right? Basically, you just manage. No productivity needed. So religion does not give you an incentive for productivity, does not give you an incentive for creativity, does not give you an incentive to put in any effort. Just pray, go to sleep. God is working on your behalf. That is the mindset of a lot of Nigerians. That, once again, is not helping our cause for national development. Academia, the same thing. One of the big ideas that has come on my table these past few days is the idea that theoretical research, right? The job of academians, PhD holders, the job of a PhD holder is not to update his Facebook name and slapping PhD there, or start, mandating everybody to call them doctors and professors. That's not the job of PhD, all right? The job of a PhD holder is to develop technical knowledge, develop scientific knowledge that works, right? And then try to distill that same knowledge into the hearts and minds of people, so that you can repeat, you can take away the old white fables, right? You can take away the old white fables in the minds of people and replace it with proven facts and figures. You can take away fiction from the minds of people, replace it with facts and figures. You can take away superstition from the minds of people and replace it with facts and figures. The job of the academia is to eradicate ignorance from the land and replace it with knowledge. Knowledge is the building block of civilization. Knowledge is the building block for creativity as well, right? Those are the kind of things that ought to be happening. But in Nigerian society, the ivory tower is sluggish. You understand? It's sluggish, all right? For me, it's no different from the political setup, all right? It's man no man, political PhDs. I don't even let us get into all of that, right? My point is this. These are the biggest institutions that are shaping the nation, and none of them gives you and I an incentive to be creative. They don't give us an incentive to be productive. They don't give us an incentive to put in effort. They're not giving us incentive to strive for excellence. All right? They are not giving us incentive to do all of that. So because of that, that is why we are the way we are. All right? When you compare this with what we call advanced nations, one of the hallmarks of an advanced nation are their industries. Check it properly. When you talk of advanced nation, when you talk of the Japans of this world, when you talk of the United States of America, when you talk about China, all right, you talk about their industries. Why? Industry is what drives economies, not government, not religion, not academia. Industry is what drives economies of the world, all right? Because industry is all about productivity. Industries is all about, efficiency, productivity, minimizing cost, maximizing profit. We discussed these things yesterday. All right. So in Nigeria, we are engaged in matters of unproductivity because there are no institutions that are demanding productivity from us. There are no institutions out there that are demanding creativity from us. For example, Amazon is a company that is worth over $1 trillion now. Amazon, all right, the popular e-commerce site based in the US of A. One of the core values of Amazon is invention. If you are not ready to pioneer and shape the thinking of an industry, you can't keep your job in Amazon for long. I'm telling you, all right? I was reading some stuff the other day. They said if you work at Google and you're not thinking of 10 times, if you're not thinking 10 times, how can we improve our efficiency 10 times? How can we make Google search work better? How can we improve Gmail 20 times? If you're not thinking in that way, they say you can't keep your job for long at Google, all right? But you can work in Nigerian civil service for 20 years without No new knowledge, no new expertise needed, nothing, just coming every day for 20 years, doing nothing. Just coming, sit in your office, run down the clock every single day, and you're good. These institutions are not demanding the best from us. And these are the problems. And that is why, personally, right, when I talk about my mission statement, I always tell people that my mission statement, right, I say I'm Ademola Morebise, and I am on a mission to see how we can shape society, how we can influence national economies, and build formidable institutions that will take Africa to the next level. Because that is what this is about, all right? You need to shape the society to become the kind of society that encourages productivity and creativity, all right? Unless we can do that, we don't have a future, all right? We need to get to that level whereby we can build strong institutions. That is what needs to happen for national development to happen. When you talk of America, for example, right? I made some posts the other time. Someone was talking about trust factor, right? The person said, we don't trust each other. That's why things don't happen in Nigeria. We don't trust each other. That's why things don't happen in Nigeria, all right? Then I said, if you think about it, all right? If you really, really think about it, I don't need to trust you before things can happen, right? I don't need to trust you. I don't need to trust anybody. If I trust the institution, I trust the institution, I trust the law and things like that, I don't need to trust you. In the US of A, for example, if I'm engaged in business, I'm doing business with you, right? And you pay me, and I defraud you or something, you can easily reverse the transaction, right? You can get your money back, you can get things back, right? I do a bit of digital marketing. I sell my books online. I sell some programs online, on business. I do business consulting and things like that, right? And in order to build trust, I usually offer I do a money back guarantee, right? I do a money back guarantee, and then when I do a money back guarantee, one of the funny things that happen is that you see someone, he doesn't trust the process. He says, what if you don't give my money back? Will I take it to the police? See, but in America will never think like that, right? Because there are strong institutions that are in place for many centuries, and those institutions ensure that the systems in America keep working. So those are the kinds of things that we need to replicate in this part of the world, right? We need to replicate them in this part of the world. That is why institutions are important. And that is why for me, right, it is unacceptable for our society to be driven by institutions that don't prioritize productivity. That is the truth. That is the simple truth, all right? Institutions that don't prioritize productivity, institutions that don't prioritize, innovation, things like that, driving the nation, we are done for. Okay, it's as simple as that. All right. So we need to build formidable institutions. For me, that is the beginning of national development. Really, I think that it is. All right. That's my opinion. Okay, that's what I think, and that's all. We cannot continue to allow unproductive public servants and a largely sluggish ivory tower to continue to set the pace and trends for the Nigerian society, because we will lose. The world is a totally different place now, and we must also evolve. These things might have worked in the time past, but in 2020, it doesn't have any place in the modern society, all right? It's really, really, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Okay, so I believe that a new Nigeria can flourish, all right? I believe so much that Nigerians have a bright future. We just need to get some things in place, all right? I've reached an interesting conclusion, right, about how Nigeria's economy can rapidly grow and become robust enough to support our population, our teeming population, all right? The truth of the matter is just that when we talk of Nigeria's economy, do people think about it in terms of Nigeria is a rich country, but mismanaged? And I say that's upside down. Nigeria is a poor country that is mismanaged. Simple as that. The truth of the matter is that Nigeria's economy is not robust enough to support our millions of people. All right, it's not robust enough to sort out millions of people. I mean, I was reading an article the other day, and the enlightened doctor that wrote the article, he said if you take Nigeria's budget and divide it by the economy, he said take Nigeria's budget for the year, divide it by by the population we have. He said you're going to have around maybe 40,000 naira per head. He said, is that money, like if they say, okay, well, let's share the money, let's share our national cake and give everybody 40,000 naira each. Can you sustain yourself with 40,000 naira? You know, I mean, all right. So let me get into some of these things because it's important. I'm going to dwell on this, then I'm going to move on to my proposed solution. All right. Remember, in case you just joined us, you're welcome. This evening, I'm talking about innovation as a tool for national development. Innovation as a tool for national development. Okay. So now, when people talk of billions naira, billion, okay, you start thinking it's big money. Well, let me give you a shocker, all right? 1 billion naira as at today is September 4, 2020. As at September 4, 2020, 1 billion naira is less than $3 million. $3 million is bigger than 1 billion naira. So stop thinking billions of naira is one big money. It is not a big money. No, it is not. All right, billions of dollars, billions of naira is chicken change when it comes to the global space. Right? We have to get these things clear with no ambiguity. Okay, that these are the factors, these are the issues, these are the things these are the truth. Let's separate facts from fiction. So when you say Nigeria is a rich country, why do you think Nigeria is a rich country? I actually wrote a whole post on this, all right? You know, on why Nigeria is not a rich country. So here's the thing, all right? When you say Nigeria is a rich country, I realize that it's a political truth. You see, we'll go back once again to politics, okay? I mean, Nigeria is not a rich country. So let me break it down for you. Objective research, talking of data and information now. Data we have, information we have now. Objectively, this is the fact. This is the truth. Okay. The easiest way to talk about Nigeria being a poor country or something, without getting into too much technicalities, let's just consider the World Bank. All right. World Bank classification. World Bank officially classifies nations into about 4 categories. You have high income countries, upper middle income countries, lower middle income countries, and low income countries. Those 4 classifications. All right. So for the 2019 fiscal year, the World Bank classified Nigeria as a lower middle income economy alongside other countries whose GNI, let me call GNI. GNI means gross national income per capita. All this information I'm saying is freely available online. I recommend you also do some searching. All right. We call it gross national income per capita for Nigeria, right, places us in the lower middle income group with 200 million citizens. All right. Do you want to know other nations that are classified alongside Nigeria? Okay, you have Djibouti, Sao Tome and Principe, Honduras. Those are nations that are classified alongside Nigeria in that particular income group. All right, and we don't think of all these other nations as being rich countries or as the case may be. All right, so why do you keep thinking, you know, Nigeria is a rich country? Based on what are you thinking Nigeria is a rich nation? All right, why? Because the facts that we have do not. So when we start thinking, okay, why do we think Nigeria is a rich nation? They'll start saying we have natural resources. Nigeria is blessed. We have natural resources. We have crude oil. We have natural gas. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So number one, do you think USA is a rich country? If you answer yes, second question, is USA a rich country because of their natural resources? Answer, I'm listening. You see how ridiculous that is, right? If you are not thinking US is a rich country because of their natural resources, you don't think China is a rich country because of their natural resources, why are you thinking Nigeria is a rich country because of Nigeria's rich natural resources? All right? It is a political truth, all right? Political truth. So I mean, the idea started from the 1950s when Nigeria was trying to get independence from the British colonial masters, right? So the pro-independence leaders, they were driving a narrative that Nigeria possesses abundant economic resources being carted away by the British. Let us drive out the British so that we can use those resources to transform your lives. That was the message. That our resources are being stolen away by the British. So let's chase the British out. Let's take control of our nation, take control of our resources so that we can. So they pushed the narrative that Nigeria is a rich country. All right. And then, of course, in the 1970s, the president then told Nigeria that the country's problem was not money, but how to spend the money. Okay. So, I mean, even if we assume those things were true back then in 1950, 1960, all right, it's certainly no longer true in 2020. In 2020, that is no longer the case. Relevant economic indicators indicate that Nigeria is a poor country. So we need to agree on that point that Nigeria is a poor country so that we can begin to think of solutions. All right, that Nigeria is a poor country that is mismanaged. Nigeria is not a rich country. That you understand? If we keep thinking, this is the problem. All right, if we keep thinking that mismanagement is the problem of Nigeria, we'll keep thinking that there is a magic button we'll press somewhere and all our problems will vanish. All right, if we keep thinking Nigeria's problem is corruption, we'll keep looking for better presidents, better ministers, better state governors. You know, and that is not going to solve any problem. Okay, that is not what's going to solve the problem. All right, fixing the Nigerian government is not the only thing that needs to happen in order for Nigeria to become a great nation. For what I've explained to you, it's not going to happen. The presence of natural resources within the borders of a nation does not automatically make your nation wealthy. All right, even if such resources were properly traded, properly accounted for by a righteous government, it still would not make a nation wealthy. I've asked you, USA is not considered to be a wealthy nation simply because they possess natural resources, right? We don't consider US to be a great nation. Why? US is a great nation because they have natural resources. That is not the case, right? That's not the case. Okay, that's not the case. So when we talk about, natural resources and things like that, that is not what makes your nation great. That's not what makes your nation great, all right? It's much more than that. Much more than that, okay? Let's go on. Let's move on, okay? Let's move on. All right, let me just chip this in, right? Before let me just chip this in. Let me chip this in, okay? Let me chip this in. Now, you talk of rubber, for example. I want to give you an example from history. In 1847, right, the standard inflatable tire was invented in around 1845, 1847 or thereabouts by some Scottish inventors, okay? So some Americans and Europeans, they invented bicycle tires back then. So by 1890, there was so much demand for tires now that they needed more raw materials to make the tires. So they turned to Africa for natural resources. So my question is this: if the bicycle was not invented, would there be a need for a rubber tire? The answer is no, right? The bicycle is a product of somebody's creativity, innovation, and that ingenuity, that drive to make the world a better place. That is what drove the invention of the bicycle. Okay? Now, you have the bicycle, you have the tire of the bicycle. Then what do we need? We need tires. Then they came to Africa. So I want you to realize something, that the inventors of the tire made more money than the people that were growing and harvesting the rubber in Africa. All right? I want you to realize that it is creativity and invention that gives meaning to natural resources. Because creativity is the tool for national development. There is no other way for a nation to develop except by creativity. It is creativity and invention that gave meaning to natural resources. So thinking you are rich because you have some natural resources in your nation is intellectual laziness. For example, if someone invents, a water-powered engine tomorrow, that this engine runs on water, not crude oil, what's going to happen to your crude oil? Nigeria's almighty crude oil reserve will become trash. It stops being a natural resource, okay? So I'm telling you, on some levels, you would agree with me that natural resources is a scam, all right? Something occurring freely in nature is not a resource unless you find a productive use for it. It's as simple as that. All right. Let's say, for example, someone invented a practical way to convert human urine. Your urine was convertible into power supply, for example. So guess what? Your urine becomes a natural resource. Does that even make any sense? So would you think you are rich because you have natural resources? Natural resources, urine. Is urine a natural resource? It is creativity and invention that gives meaning to naturally occurring substances, plants, rocks, whatever elements, in your nation. It all comes down to creativity and invention. Okay, so let's go a little bit further. Right? Let's go a little bit further. So I am convinced that it is individuals, exceptional individuals, that will arise and build companies that will enhance the economic outlook of Nigeria. A little recap now. I said institutions is what drives the society, and the institutions driving the Nigerian society are not. They don't place a premium on your creativity. They don't place a premium on innovation. They don't care about productivity. So there is no efficiency going on in the Nigerian society as a result of all these things. All right. So, but exceptional individuals can arise, and they will build those institutions that can influence the economy and enhance that economic outlook of Nigeria. All right. So I want you to think about how you can, do something big, right? Regardless of the government. Like I said, Nigeria became a great nation regardless of in spite of the government and not because of the government. I don't see a government passing laws, that will just press a magic button and make everything great. I don't see that happening, all right? What I see happening, what I think can happen, right, is Nigerians taking possession, all right, of their own affairs and building institutions that can now turn the overall outlook of the nation. Something along that line. Okay? We need to get to a level whereby brilliant entrepreneurship can have a stay in our society. You have brilliant guys doing great things as entrepreneurs. That is the kind of miracles that I think you and I need to pray for. Those are the kind of things we need to work towards, as far as I can tell. Okay? All right, so let me share this case study with you, and then you see this is like the framework that I think is very realistic that we can roll with. Remember, we are talking about innovation, right? Innovation as the tool. Innovation as the tool for national development. Innovation will drive national development. That is what we are talking about. So a couple of years ago, December 2014 to be exact, I read a post on Bill Gates' blog titled, "Can the Asian Miracle Happen in Africa?" I read the blog on Bill Gates' blog, a post on Bill Gates' blog titled, "Can the Asian Miracle Happen in Africa?" The post was an excellent review and analysis on a book Bill Gates read at that time titled How Asia Works. Okay? And Bill Gates said he read that book because he claimed to answer two of the greatest questions in development economics, namely, how did countries like Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, and China achieve sustained high growth and turn into development success stories? And why have very few other countries managed to do the same thing? All right, long story short, we got a concise, simple formula that worked for the economies they studied. And even though it will be hard to implement, all right, it will be hard. It will be hard to implement these things, all right? But having a formula is a great place to start, if you would agree with me, all right? So, long story short, we got a simple and concise formula for turning around an economy. So, here are the things. He said, number one, they created conditions for small farmers to thrive. That's the first thing they did. Number two, they used the money from the agricultural sector, they used it to build a large manufacturing base that is stood from the start for exporting. So the small farmers started their thing. They took money from farming, injected it into manufacturing, export-focused manufacturing. And then from there, The third point is they now nurtured these sectors, the small farming and the export-oriented manufacturing, with financial institutions closely controlled by the government. With that third factor, they were able to turn around their economy. Simple. I read that post like a dozen times, right? I was hooked. I kept thinking about that post for a long time. I thought about it, because I felt, or you were talking about the government, I just felt that this 3-point agenda is something anybody can implement, regardless of the government, or rather in cooperation with the government, whatever the case may be. But I feel like this is it. This makes a lot of sense. Like, we can do this. That's the kind of mindset I had. All right. And so I saw this and realized that this is something that is doable. And in fact, if you are conversant with the business and tech startup in Nigeria, but I've heard of companies like Farm Crowdy, Thrive Agric, and the rest of them. That's essentially what they do, right? They empower smallholder farmers, aggregate those farmers together, make a profit, and settle the shareholders. That's what they do basically right now. Okay. So you have all these companies, Farm Crowdy, Thrive Agric. They're aggregating the power of thousands of farmers and creating a formidable and powerful business entity that can have a greater economic impact than any smallholder farmer. This can then drive the economy. So I take the power of thousands of farmers, I create a single powerful business entity. This entity can now be an institution that can impact the national economy. That is the kind of thinking that we want to have. Okay, can this formula work in Nigeria and emerging Africa? I think so. I'm convinced this can work. All right, at least I've mentioned a real life company, Farm Crowdy, Thrive Agric. This is the model they run with, more or less. All right, but then let me now tweak the same formula. I'll tweak it a little bit, and you see what we come up with. All right. So yes, let's think along this line. Step 1: create necessary conditions for tailors and fashion designers to thrive. Thrive in this way would mean a system or a platform or a service or an app. Anything that can create a collective force. The emphasis is on collective force. You want to aggregate, you want to amass the power of thousands and tens of thousands of artisans and professionals into a single formidable, institution that can have a national impact. That's what you want to do. So I create necessary conditions for tailors and fashion designers to thrive. That's first step. Second step: after running that for some time, efforts must now be made to see how such a company can get into the export game. They must export something, maybe their products, maybe their services, maybe their intellectual property, but they must do something that they can sell to a global audience. Very important, to the globe, export focus, export. Third thing, with solid business structure, corporate governance, disciplined management, then you can take it to the next level, something along that line. All right, this is also something that has been done in the IT industry. All right, IT industry, right? You talk of might have heard of this company Andela, right? Although they've changed their structure a bit, but it's the same idea. All right, create necessary conditions for computer programmers to thrive. Right, from there you export their talent to the international space. Manage the system well, manage your resources well, keep expanding, and make sure you stick around for 10 years or more. Boom, problem solved. Isn't it? Right? I mean, you have countries like Philippines and India that are leveraging the internet to build massive companies like that. Right? You have them, they specialize in outsourcing services. These companies are exporting something, talent, service, product to the global market after aggregating the power of smaller artisans and professionals in their nation. So that is what I think can happen. So after some more thinking, reflection, and research, I ended up with my own formula of Bill Gates framework. It's still 3, all right? So step 1, create necessary conditions for artisans and professionals in any sector to thrive, any sector at all. Create the necessary conditions for artisans and professionals in any sector at all to thrive. Number 2, aggregate the momentum generated to build an export-focused company in the industry. That's step 2. Step 3, structure the business properly, manage your cash well, and you are good to go. I believe this is a viable plan that can be implemented by anybody who is passionate enough to give it a go. The genius of this plan is that the execution is the important thing. The execution is hard. I'm not going to just come here and say it's not easy, all right? Executing this 3-step agenda is going to be hard, very, very hard, but it is doable. It's doable. So your execution must be excellent for this idea to work. We have seen this already implemented by the likes of Farm Crowdy, Andela, Tribe Agric, and a host of others. So the model is simple to explain, but it is hard to execute. All right. If you cannot execute it well, don't even bother. All right. But I believe that this formula is going to work because of one thing. Now, one thing you have in underdeveloped nations, under-industrialized nations like Nigeria, is that you have a high supply of unskilled labor, right? So we have a large supply of unskilled labor. So with that unskilled labor, you simply do some basic training. They are trained. They get into your factory, into your industry. Then they work their way up from there, all right? And then one step at the other, you amass power, you grow in the game, and then you can change the game. I believe that this is one way we can put our creativity to work and channel it to champion, channel it as a way to champion national development. This is how your creativity can, move the needle as far as national development is concerned. All right. I believe strongly that you listening to me right now, you are the economic miracle we have been praying for. I believe strongly that you can get it done. All right. You could pick any sector of the economy right now. Any sector. You could pick any sector of the economy and implement this simple model if you wanted to. All right. That is the major thing that I see as a viable way that we can channel our creativity to turn this nation around. It's a very simple model. Execution is hard and tricky, but it can be done. So I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts about this. What do you think about this idea? Is it making sense? Do you think it's flawed? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm checking the comments, and I'll be sure to, respond as necessary. All right. Let's just have a conversation. Let's know if it's something that could be done. I believe strongly it can be done. Let me take the 3 points again. Number 1, create the necessary conditions for artisans and professionals in any industry at all to thrive. All right. Then step 2, aggregate the momentum you've generated to build an export-focused company in the industry. And when you keep that going, number 3, structure your business properly, manage your cash well, and continue to grow and expand. If you have those 3 things in place, the economy of the nation will be turned around in no time at all. So thank you so much for taking out time to, be a part of this seminar. I respect you so much. Thank you so much. And of course, don't forget to drop your questions, and let's discuss these ideas and see how these things can go beyond mere discussions, and we begin to take the action that will change the nation forever. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Ademola Morebise. Thank you.